All right. Hi, everybody. It's Adele Frizzell here.
And Tiffany here.
And today we want to talk to you about the pros and cons of intermittent fasting. I know some of you are using intermittent fasting. Some of you are wondering if you should use it. So as always, we believe that there are lots of approaches to managing your weight. And the most important thing is that you're educated and informed about the pros and the cons of each of them, because nothing is perfect in life. But before we talk about intermittent fasting, why don't we give people a quick update with what's going on in the company?
So first I want to say that we recently did a macro workshop. Thank you guys so much for everyone that participated with that. It was an amazing time. It was great getting to see all of your faces and cook with you. And I feel like it was just, a lot of laughs and stuff during the call as well. We are going to potentially plan another one in the future, maybe a couple months down the road. So if you're interested in that, just let us know. Maybe we'll do different recipes this time.
Yeah, I think a different breakfast, lunch, and dinner would be good. But shout out to Maureen today for your comment on how it's the gift that keeps on giving because you're still enjoying the food. Yeah, it was a really great experience. And I hope it helps people who have never tracked macros before to understand how it all works much better. All right. So if you are listening to this Facebook Live, please give us a shout out. Just comment, I'm here. Our Facebook Lives happen. We try to make them happen once a week. And if nobody's really watching or commenting, these videos do not get seen in people's news feeds. Facebook does not show everything that happens in this group to people. It shows things to people it thinks are popular, right? So things become more popular if it gets commented on. A like is not enough. A comment lets the algorithms know, hey, people in this group are paying attention to this post. Maybe I should make it more visible to others.
With that said, Patty is here. Hi, Patty. Thanks for coming.
Hello. Awesome. All right.
We do have a couple of other announcements that we want to let you guys know, upcoming events that's going to be happening. Do you want to kind of expand on that?
Yeah, we've got a lot going on, which is part of the reason why we haven't done a Facebook Live in 3 weeks, I think?
Yeah, it's been busy.
A while. It's been really, really busy. We launched the Transformer program, so it's been occupying a lot of our time and attention. I'm also hiring another admin assistant because Sarah, our gal for all things tech and customer support and stuff, is just kind of overwhelmed. So she needs an assistant to help her. And we are also hiring another coach. So I'm in the interview stage. We got over 200 applications. It's awesome. So we are just selecting from the most qualified applicants and interviewing them. And then there will be a whole training period that will last about 4 months long. What else did I mention that's new, Tiffany?
Oh, the retreats.
Yeah. So Patty, I'm thinking of you last night because we chatted in a new you call. So I've always had this dream of doing a retreat with clients, and this is the year it's going to happen. So in August 2022, we'll be inviting our VIPs. And so how do you become a VIP? Basically, you do at least 2 programs with us, and you would get invited to this retreat. And we're only taking about 8 people. So we've been planning this retreat for a while now. And I'm just really excited to make it happen. It's going to happen in Idaho Falls. So lots of fun stuff planned.
And if you've never been to Idaho Falls, it's amazing. I kind of fell in love with it when I went last summer. Yeah, I'm excited to go back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you coming back. I mean, we're going to hike. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to have a gym session together. We're going to eat healthy food. We're going to cook. We're going to forage in my garden together. We're going to do yoga and have a fire and an outdoor movie and things like that. So, and I'll be opening up my house. The other thing is there's a lot in the surrounding area. It's this little hidden gem that people are just finding out about. And I'm actually scared to let the world know about Idaho Falls because I like the population size right now. Like I'm going off. We should talk about intermittent fasting. But anyway, it's just great. Yellowstone's 2 hours away. Jackson Hole's really close. There's sand dunes that are 400-foot dunes. You can dune buggy in. That's an hour away.
You mentioned there was the volcanic.
Yeah, there's a volcanic area, a national park that you can go hiking in. There's just so much to offer, and all kinds of landscape from desert to mountains that actually, I'm going to stop talking now because, like I said, I like this small city. It's only 72,000 people.
Just forget everything she just said. None of it's true. It's all lies.
Yes. Anyway, so we got the retreat. And then what else did I say we're working on? So another thing I'm working. Oh, the rapid weight loss thing.
Oh yeah.
We did that.
Launching soon.
Yeah. So if you are new to this group, Tiffany and I did a rapid weight loss experiment. We'll get around to intermittent fasting soon, I promise. But this rapid weight loss experiment was where we put our calories quite low. Tiffany was about 800, 900, and I was averaging about 1,100. And we felt great. And we lost a lot of weight in 3 weeks. And hunger was low, energy was good. We were very pleased with the experiment. We did the same protocol as we give our transformer clients, but there was no HCG or appetite suppressing medication at all. We were fine. It was quite surprising. Now we're creating a program for people who have graduated from the Transformer program and really understand macros to do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off for 12 weeks to lose the weight. So basically 2 weeks of very low calorie dieting followed by 2 weeks of maintenance. And we'll be tracking body composition, sleep, mood markers, etc. Hunger, So excited to launch that towards the end of February. So
yeah, I think it's going to be great. I'm excited to see the progress and how everybody else responds to it.
Yeah. And we're actually going to be using a coaching app for the first time. So that will be an interesting experience to get feedback on from clients who have experienced both, like the way we've always done things, and now with the coaching app to see which experience they actually prefer. So if you're interested in that, you're a Transformer grad, comment below. I can send you some details. We're limiting this to about 10 to 12 people, okay? All right, enough said about all the updates going on. Let's talk about all things intermittent fasting. I mean, this could be a 2-hour talk, so we're just going to go with the highlights, but if you have a specific question, comment, and we are happy to take a deeper dive and answer your question. Okay, are you ready? Say yes, you're ready in the comments, and we'll get started. All right, so let's refer to the Transformer program. In the Transformer program, towards the end of it, we talk about ways to manage your weight that don't require tracking your macros, okay? And one of them is intermittent fasting. Do we advocate it? Not really, but for some people, it can really work. Has intermittent fasting worked for you? If so, please say so in the comments. If you tried it and it didn't work, let us know in the comments. It's always
interesting. Yeah, it's always interesting to see how different people handle different situations. Some things work for some people that it just is not feasible for other people.
Totally. So we touch on this in the Transformer program in lesson 11 towards the end of the program. And I'm just going to refer to our document there and intermittent fasting. So what is intermittent fasting? Let's get started and kind of define that for everyone so we're all on the same page. Maybe Tiffany, do you want to refer to Transformer program lesson 11, beyond tracking, and the definition there? Okay.
Yeah, so basically intermittent fasting or time restricted eating is the act of limiting yourself to a window of time to eat. It's usually about 8 hours long. As an example, some people will fast from 7 p.m. to 11 a.m. and only eat between the hours of 11 and 7. This is considered a 16 to 8 fasting window, meaning 16 hours of no food, 8 hours of food. Others will fast from 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. and only eat between the hours of 9 and 7, 14 hours without food, 10 hours with food. So there's no set schedule that you have to follow with intermittent fasting. It's whatever works for you. Yeah.
So who's it good for then, in a nutshell?
People with busy schedules, people who prefer to eat bigger meals. If you eat bigger meals in a smaller window, you're less likely to go over your total calories. You can get more enjoyment, more of that fullness feeling with each meal. People who don't feel hungry until they start eating, and people who prefer to work out fasted, that'd be great for them. And then something else is people that just don't like eating breakfast. Some people are not breakfast people.
Yeah. And that's perfectly fine. We'll go into a bit more nuance on who it's good for later on as well. But one thing it can be good for is like people who have quite sedentary jobs. You know, if you just get busy in the morning and you start fasting later, like midday, it shortens that opportunity to consume lots of calories. So it means it could put you in a deficit. Could. The other thing is it can be good for is people who are really bad at nighttime snacking and grazing. So if you have a tendency to eat a lot of calories after 7 o'clock at night, creating this rule for yourself where you're like, no, kitchen is shut down at 7 can automatically put you in a calorie deficit. There's no magic.
So Patty,
to it, right?
Patty had a comment here. She said she tries not to eat between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. She was miserable trying to do just an 8-hour window. She would wake up hungry, and she's thankful for permission to eat breakfast.
Yeah, so that's great, Patty. So you found out that it wasn't good for you to go too long without eating. And, you know, I do recommend people try a high protein breakfast. I think it just sets them up for, usually sets them up for better eating throughout the day. And, you know, it doesn't work for everybody. It really doesn't. So that's a really good observation. And again, like you're still fasting for what, 12 hours there, you know? So in a way, just sleeping at night puts you in a fasted state. Who's it bad for, Tiffany?
People who are underweight, have a history of eating disorders, people who prefer to eat frequently, and people who find that they overeat whenever they restrict themselves, or people who are trying to build more muscle mass.
Yeah, if you're trying to really put on muscle mass, then you ideally want 4 meals, maybe 5 meals throughout the day and protein at every meal. So you have a constant trickle of amino acids to your muscle tissue to help you build that muscle. Really, if you're talking about an 8-hour feeding window, you might only have 2 or 3 meals. And so you are going to probably consume less protein, you know? It's just harder to hit those protein goals in a shorter feeding period. It's really up to you how long you want to fast. Some people can go as long as 20 hours and eat in a 4-hour window. I personally advise against a 4-hour feeding window because it's socially isolating. It can lead to binging for some individuals. And you can't, as I mentioned, maximize nutrient uptake and anabolism, which is muscle building, when you limit yourself to less than 3 meals a day. So again, it's best to spread your protein out. 4 meals a day is great for maximum muscle growth. If you're active in strength sports and endurance activities, intermittent fasting isn't ideal. You want to be fueling yourself properly for your workouts, right? Intermittent fasting can make it difficult to partake in intra-workout, meaning the nutrition you have during your workout, such as a shake, or in post-workout nutrition. You know, and both of those are helpful for maximizing anabolism, which is muscle building, as well as performance and recovery. But some people enjoy intermittent fasting because it helps them spontaneously eat less food. Now, it is not magical. All it does is create sort of a rule for yourself and conditions to eat only at certain times, which can result in eating less. So if you don't feel hungry during your fasting period, that's great. It can squash the snacking habit. It can make you eat less if weight loss is your goal, or maybe managing your weight. What else do we want to say about it?
Well, it can backfire, as we mentioned earlier. So if you, what you just said, if you don't feel hunger, then that's fine. But if you are feeling hunger, and then finally you might get to that moment where you're like, screw it, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. And that can lead to overeating during the feeding window.
Yeah, there are people who put on weight during intermittent fasting because they're like, I'm just waiting for 10 o'clock or noon to roll around. And then it's just like the floodgates open, right? So my recommendation, if you decide to give intermittent fasting a try, you might want to start with a shorter fasting period, like Patty does, 12 hours. or maybe a 14-hour fasting window and a 10-hour feeding window. Experiment with longer durations if desired. You don't have to be rigid about it. And you know what? You can fast for 12 hours one day, 14 another, depending on your hunger levels. You can even use it in conjunction with flexible dieting, which is something we teach in all our programs. But until you get the hang of it, I recommend tracking your food during your 8 to 10 hour feeding window to make sure you're not under eating, especially if you're involved in training, or overeating if you're concerned about gaining weight. It's really important that you get enough protein in. And so tracking kind of makes you accountable for that protein intake. Okay. Something you can try if you're curious. Now, we have, and I'd love to know, do you have any questions about that at this point? Because we're going to talk a bit more nuance about intermittent fasting now. Okay.
I'll let you know if any questions pop up. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So Martin McDonald is a nutritionist based in the UK, and he has an ebook you can get off of his website. I will link to it in the comments. It's a great ebook. It's called Intermittent Fasting for Single Digit Body Fat. And I am going to refer to this document. It's, I don't know how many pages, 21 pages. It's really quite good. We're just going to touch on a few of these things to give you an idea of what's in the document, but I recommend it if you are very interested in intermittent fasting, okay? And it's
I want to point something out too. It does say for single digit body fat. For females, single digit body fat's not realistic. So don't let the name get to you and don't think, well, I have to be at 9% body fat. No, as a female, you definitely do not need to be at 9% body fat.
You would almost die, because we need about 7% body fat just to, like, we need certain amounts of fat, like for example, in the heels of our feet, so that walking is not painful. We need some fat pads there. We need some fat behind our eyeballs. There's a certain amount of like necessary fat to live and function. Even bodybuilders who are at their most lean when they get on stage, most of those ladies are between 9 and 12% body fat. You really can't go lower than that without
major health issues.
Major, like you basically.
And even at 9 to 12%, you're already dealing with some health issues at that point.
You are. Your period is probably stopped, things like that. So you don't want, it's kind of like reaching Everest without oxygen. You can't hang out there for very long. You got to come down, and because your body is decomposing as you're ascending. I have a bit of a hiking background. So the same thing when you are getting into low levels of body fat, you're basically creating some damage to your body. And so you don't want to hang out there,
Yeah.
But back to intermittent fasting, there are a lot of proposed benefits to it. Okay. Now there are some gurus on the internet who believe that this is the be all and end all, but a lot of things are based on animal studies, which may not be truly applicable to humans. Okay. So the benefits could be overhyped. Just think about this as another tool in your toolbox to help you manage body weight. All right. Not everyone should do it, but contrary to what many gurus will tell you, it has nothing to do with gender, cortisol levels, or any other made up endocrinological, and oh my goodness, I can't even pronounce it. Endocrinological hormones and things like that is a reason. There are a couple situations where IF is not suitable. And this is from the book, by the way. 1, when you're pregnant, do not intermittent fast. Okay. 2, when it doesn't suit you. That's pretty much it. Okay. And we've talked about it before. You can try it, experiment with it, see how you feel. If it doesn't suit you, no worries. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean, don't be disappointed. It's just something you tried. It was a tool you picked up and you put down. I don't intermittent fast myself. If I just listen to my body, if I'm not hungry at 8 a.m., I don't eat until I feel the first stirrings of hunger. I generally eat before 10 a.m. though. And I get up between 6:30 and 7.
Yeah, I'm usually up at 6:30, and I'm usually eating. I'll usually have a quick snack before I go to the gym, and I go to the gym around 8. And then when I come home, I'll have my first major meal after I work out.
Yeah. because you feel better not working out on a full stomach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's many myths surrounding the timing and frequency of meals. But, again, you can figure out what interval works best for you. So any questions so far about intermittent fasting? Because next we're going to go into some of the common questions about intermittent fasting. And I'm just going to refer to page 6, I believe, of the book here. So who's a good candidate for it? Do you want to start off, Tiffany?
You said page 6 is where you are?
Yeah.
Trying to make sure I'm on the right page.
It's okay. I'll start while you catch up. Basically, it's for whatever reason you have to eat a very low calorie diet to lose weight. It could be because your body size, your activity levels, etc. So if you need to have fewer meals, like having fewer meals can actually allow for more socially acceptable sized meals. If you're concerned about perhaps eating out with somebody, or you want to eat with your family and eat what they're eating, but you really have to eat very little throughout the day in order to lose weight, for whatever reason there is behind that, then you might want to intermittent fast so that you can enjoy a larger meal with family or socially.
So another thing is people who struggle with continually feeling deprived, periods of effort and relaxation seem to suit some people better.
Yeah.
Those who don't want to eat breakfast or dinner, like I mentioned earlier, and those who prefer to prepare or eat less meals. So if you're one of those people that don't like spending a lot of time in the kitchen, intermittent fasting might be good for you, because now you only have to cook 2 meals a day instead of however many meals a day before you were, or you can reduce how much meal prep you're doing tremendously each week as well.
Yeah, you could have 2 meals and like a protein shake or something like that, or a snack if you wanted to, or just 2 meals a day. Just make sure you hit your protein, please.
Yeah.
All right. Those who are pressured for time. That's another one. One client of mine said she's doing intermittent fasting and she finds it very freeing, and she's a busy woman. So that's an option. So another reason.
So those that need or want to make a big change, some research has shown that those who make the biggest change to their diet get the greatest results. And I mean, really, this goes back to creating those rules for yourself as well. Obviously, the more you change your diet, the different food choices you make is going to help you hit those results.
Yeah. Those people who are dieting to very low body fat levels and struggle with appetite, long periods of not eating can actually take the focus away from food and make it easier to maintain a depressed calorie intake. It can also, based on our own experience with our rapid weight loss experiment, it can also suppress your hunger.
Yep. And then again, I do want to point out that it says maintain a depressed calorie intake. So basically, you're still eating in a deficit. It's not magic. You're eating in a deficit, and this is making it easier for you to stay in that deficit. So those looking to maintain muscle and training performance as much as possible through a diet, intermittent calorie restriction protocols have the benefit of allowing more energy to be consumed before, during, and after training, which should benefit training performance. So like I mentioned earlier, I don't generally eat very much before I work out. I will have a little snack because I feel that it settles in my stomach better. But some people will have a large meal about 2 hours before they work out. And because they have that large meal, they have a lot of energy for that exercise training session. Therefore, sometimes their performance is a little increased.
Yeah, I know some bodybuilders, big boys, like 260 pounds and stuff. They can't work out with a full stomach. They've tried different ways. And what works best is something light just before the workout, like a protein shake and a banana. And then they'll have half the protein shake before and the other half during the workout. And then the big meals right after the workout, because you really want to help with muscle building. So they'll eat after the workout. One guy eats an entire box of cereal with Fairlife high protein milk. And 300 grams of carbs per meal 5 times a day is insane. But
that's crazy.
I have a little carb envy there.
Oh
If
my
I could just eat
gosh.
300 grams in a day, that'd be awesome. But
Now I want to know like what kind of cereal is he eating? Is it Lucky Charms? Like,
yeah, those guys, they don't eat super healthy cereals, right? They're concerned with just energy intake. But anyway, another reason this might be good for people is people who can't get any good food, right? In a situation where you might be traveling. I remember being in Egypt on a train, and every breakfast was a white bread bun and a boiled egg. And it was just like, it gets old so fast. And, you might just want to skip it. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And now if you skip that breakfast, you're intermittent fasting. Congratulations, it's that easy. So that's always an option. If you're in a situation where you really can't eat something that you'd like to eat, you could just skip it and enjoy a healthier, larger lunch.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So I hope that was helpful. This document that we have just been referring to, again, comes from Martin McDonald's. I'll link to it in the comments, and it's about intermittent fasting, and you might find it really interesting. I hope this was helpful. Sorry.
This document's like 27 pages long. So there's a ton of information that we just don't have time to go over during this Facebook Live. But if you guys are interested, definitely check it out, read through it. And this article gets pretty in depth with, some of the information that it provides.
So in a nutshell, intermittent fasting is not a magic bullet. It's something you could try and experiment with, right? Definitely still get your protein in throughout the day. If you do try it, let us know what you think. All right. I think that's it for today. We'll see you next Thursday with another Facebook Live. We would love to get some ideas from you for topics. If you have any questions you want answered in a Facebook Live, definitely comment below with a next topic. What was the word for it? Next topic suggestion.
Facebook Live suggestion.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, we're open to your suggestions. What do you want to know about nutrition and training?
Yeah.
We'll cover it in a Facebook Live. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks, Tiffany.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.